was the overall takeaway from watching the Kentucky film?
Well, I think there were a lot of positives in the sense of you go on the road, you want to get off to a great start. We got off to a great start. I think the fallacy in basketball, and you use the Oklahoma Vanderbilt as an example. They're down 19 with 3 minutes to play and almost win the game. In college basketball, a 12-point lead, a 14-point lead, anymore, it can evaporate quickly. And all it takes is a couple bad possessions. You miss a shot, they make a shot. But when you think about the Kentucky game, they got back in the game over 10 minutes. So it wasn't like all of a sudden we gave up a 10-0 run. It was them grinding back, and the game became a possession game. At the end of the day, one out of every 4 games in the SEC right now is coming down to a one-possession game. No matter how the other 38 minutes go, it's going to end up a 1 to 2 possession game. And at the end, we had opportunities, and they didn't go in for us.
Bishop and Nate said they thought that y'all got a little passive offensively in the second half. I guess, would you agree with that? And if so, how do you change that? How do you avoid that?
I don't know if we got passive. I think when you miss shots, you feel like you got passive. We had some great looks when you go back and look at the film, and I think it's the opportunities when you've got to knock them down. Again, when games become possessions, there's not going to be as many opportunities, and so I don't know if you would say it's passive. It's you're only going to get so many opportunities. You've got to take advantage of them.
Has there been more good than bad when you guys have been in those possession games as a whole this season?
Well, I think when you look at the last 5 weeks, there has been. And because when you look at the last, let's say 4 weeks of every game we've been in, it's come down to right at the end, and except for the Ole Miss game. And yet that was the final score there wasn't indicative of the game. It was a back and forth game for almost 32, 33 minutes. So, yeah, I think we've done a great job of executing at the end in tight games. And, again, if you go back and watch the film, we got 2 great shots at Kentucky with the clock going down. A difference in games, they didn't go in. And that's part of basketball.
What led to Jacoby scoring 1 point in the second half?
Well, I think, again, when you watch the film, that's the advantage that coaches get, that sometimes fans and the person out there just going, well, how does Jacoby only score 1 point? He had 5 wide open looks that he had in the first half. They didn't go in, and that's part of it. Now, is the wear and tear of a game part of it? Yeah, that's part of it too. They were all in the second half. You're fighting hard, and you watch our team play on defense. We're playing really hard right now. I think that's the fun part for us is as you continue to watch this team grow, like we were really good defensively in a lot of spots in that game because when we were struggling to score, they were also struggling to score. And so, but he got good looks. They just didn't go in for him. That's the bottom line.
How's Nate a different player right now than he was a month ago?
Well, I think, and I'll go back to even the last time I was in here with you guys, and everybody wanted to ask about Nate. Coach Barnes, Coach Gainey, Coach Polinsky, Steve McClain all said the kid's he's growing. Give him time, and nobody wants to give any player time right now. They want you to magically be as good as you can be, and that isn't real. It isn't real at this level. It isn't real at the next level. And so, what has happened, the game has slowed down for him, and he's seeing the game at a whole different level. And now his teammates are seeing the game at a whole different level with what he can do.
Schematically, has Nate overtaken Jacoby in the sense of like our get a bucket guy in the half court, or is that just how teams are playing you guys defensively?
No, I think our system's built to create opportunities, and that's where Nate is so good. if you're going to double him, he can make the play for somebody else. And so, no, we have belief in any of our guys. Bishop has stepped up, and I'm not going to be concerned if he has a shot at the end of the game. And I think that's where this team is growing right now, is when teams think they can just play Jacoby and Nate, we've got other guys that can step up and be really good.
What was your assessment of the front court, maybe other than Felix, who is still kind of recovering in that last game, but what was your assessment of how they played and what do they got to do more on offense?
Well, here's what I would tell you, because, again, people would say they didn't finish enough in the paint. And no question, we got to finish better. But you're not going to finish against 6-foot guys. You know, Kentucky's got a real front line. And I thought at times we went in there, we shot the shot we wanted, we didn't get it. We got 19 offensive rebounds. It was the part we couldn't convert those into points. And that, you know, when you talk about the difference in the game, you get 19 offensive rebounds, you're hoping you convert that into 12, 13, 14 points, and we didn't do it in the game. And I think the other thing we've stressed with them is at times we're tipping balls when we could just be going to get them, grab it, go back up and score it. So I think, again, those guys, I talk about JP a lot. You know, he is now getting the most extended minutes he's ever got in Division I basketball. And so he's going to have growing pains during that, but yet it's going to teach him a lot, and he's just going to keep getting better and better, which makes our team better.
What stands out about Mississippi State?
Well, they've got a guard that's one of the most electric guards in the SEC. He has been for the last 4 years. He's capable of coming out and getting 40. And yet they've got other really good players around him. Now they've got 2 guards that are capable of either one of them getting 40. And so when you play a Chris Jantz team, you know they're going to be lined up ready to compete for 40 minutes. And I've known him since he was a junior college coach. It's who he is. It's who his teams have always been. You're going on the road to play in the SEC. And when you get to this time, it's the greatest time of year in college basketball because everybody's playing for something. And so it doesn't matter if you're at home or on the road, you're going to have to bring your A effort every night the next 5, 6, 7 weeks to get where you want to get.
When you look back at the film, you're talking about the offensive rebounds, was there anything in particular to why you guys couldn't score off of those 19 offensive rebounds?
Well, I think a lot of that was what I said. We were tipping balls instead of just going and grabbing them. And so you know, every tip counts as an offensive rebound. Well, there were times Dwayne and JP tipped it 3 or 4 times in the same possession. And again, I always go back. It's easy to say you should go grab it. Well, I'm not in there against Marino and those guys battling. So, but it is one thing we've tried to focus on is at times we could be grabbing those balls and finishing them.
What's the message to this group coming off of the loss and going into Mississippi State?
Well, your message this time of year is it's next game and how do we get better? I think if you're not watching this team and seeing them grow and getting better, then you're not seeing the picture of this team from November till now. But back to what I said, everybody's playing for something right now. And so you better never think you've got an easy one coming in this league. I think Oklahoma proved that Saturday at Vanderbilt because it comes back to get you. And so you got to line up ready to play. That's the message.
Anything else? All right, thanks, Coach.
Thank you.
Thanks, Joe.